Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of Video Sign Incorporated this morning. You look out the window, you'll know why. That's all you have to do. Look out the window. Unless you're in Mexico, then you don't have to look out the window. You have to know that it's snowing here. And it's snowing hard. I've already been out there once this morning and shoveled about 3 to 4 inches, and it's accumulated just as much in the last couple hours. So I'll be going out again, but that's all right. Look at, yeah, builds muscle. Builds muscle going out there. It's not much fun. It's cold out too. Like it's 25 degrees or something like that. Anyway, usually we do this show from the studios of Video or 4680Q, but today we're doing it from Video Sign Incorporated, and it is City Council Agenda Review Day. So we're going to get into the City Council agenda this morning, and just tell you what's going on with City Council. The meeting is tomorrow. It starts for the public at around 4 o'clock or so, 4:30, between 4 and 5 usually. They go in camera, which is a closed council meeting that they discuss all the top secret stuff that they're doing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's pizza and wings. I don't know, but they're there for a couple and a half hours. So the real show starts for the public at around 4:30, 4:35, somewhere in around there. This snowmageddon is really driving me crazy, to be honest with you. Buses aren't running, school buses and that. It's been a real pain in the neck, and it's not letting up. Let me tell you, out there, it's pretty nasty out, and it's blowing as well. I hope it stops early this afternoon. So be safe out there wherever you are. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. Snowplows are out, and you just don't want to be getting in any accidents or having anything happen to you. So before we get into the City Council agenda, let's talk about my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Now, you look out there and you say, oh boy, geez, I hope my car don't break down. Well, it wouldn't break down if you would have taken in to see Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's like I told you to. I've been telling you this for 2 months now while the weather was nice, to be proactive. Get your car in there. Hey, but there's still time. Get it in there. Get it checked out. Let them check out your systems. Make sure your defroster's working, your battery's up to snuff. Make sure that your antifreeze is in your car so you don't freeze up and really cause some major problems. Check your suspension, your brakes. Make sure it's a safe traveling winter. Even though it's only 6 weeks left before we head into March, those 6 weeks can get pretty nasty around here, especially with the lakes uncovered, and we get that lake effect snow, which is what this probably is today. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. If you do go out in this weather and get the fender bender, you can depend on Wild Bill's to get your car into their shop, fix it, and get it back to you in showroom condition. Why wait? Give them a call today. WildBillsAuto.ca is their web address. And while you're there at checking out their services, don't forget to flip over to my YouTube channel, Paul Lemire 4973, or just search for Your City, Your Voice, and you'll be able to take advantage of that. Subscribe. It costs you nothing. We have over 200 subscribers now. Of course, we're always looking for more to join the party. We want to have everybody involved. We got an election coming up this year. We have a budget coming up in 1 week, and they talk about the operations budget. Our taxes are coming out. We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow and a little bit today. So there's lots going on right now. Make sure you get over to the website or to the Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe. It costs nothing. Leave comments, thumbs up, give your opinion. We want to hear them. That's what this show's all about. Your city, your voice. It's your city, your voice, your vote, and mostly it's your money. You should know how city council is spending your money. That's the least you'd want to do if you were a tax-paying citizen, right? Okay, so let's get into this city council agenda. Some house cleaning. The actual meeting takes place, like I said, tomorrow, Tuesday, January 20th, starting at 2 p.m. for councilors, in-camera meeting, and then they go into an open meeting for the public, and it runs around 4 to 5. You're going to start seeing them start. If you miss the first 20 minutes, half hour, don't worry about it. It's mostly presentations and that kind of thing. Nothing that would interest you. Although if your relative or something is getting an award or something, that might interest you. So that's fine. Take it easy, Sylvester. Take it easy over here. Okay, so you can catch that meeting at niagarafalls.ca, the city website. You can catch it on YouTube. Also, you can catch it at some time. You can catch it on the Cogeco channel, the local Cogeco community channel. They have it sometimes. So one of those three places, you're going to find it. And of course, as usual, when I go through it, I just go through it, kind of give my opinions on things. But it's up to you to go through it yourself and check out all the PDFs. There's lots of PDFs, lots of pages of information that you can go through yourself. I'm just giving you the highlights and what to watch for when you're watching for it, and trying to explain a little bit about what they're doing, why they're doing it, if I can, and go through it like that. Now, this is going to be a long meeting, I think. There's like 6 or 7 planning matters on the agenda. And then, of course, we have about half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour of the preliminaries. We get into the agenda. We're going to see the appointment of Barbara Greenwood, probably to regional council. That's who city council is probably going to recommend. That's what city councils usually do, take the next person up. And Barbara Greenwood was the next person up. And why is she going to be sitting on council? Well, because Bob Gale was made chairman of the regional Niagara. So his seat is vacant. He was elected to a seat on council from Niagara Falls, and Barb Greenwood was the next one up, 114 votes behind him last election. So she gets to jump up into his seat for the balance of the term, which is, of course, October 26th, 2026. That's when the election is, and we'll see if she gets elected again. Last time she didn't. She may not even want to run, but I would imagine she'll take the seat. She's experienced. She's done it many times. She's been on regional council for a couple of terms anyway, so she'll probably get on that. And it's a pretty. There's a lot of stuff in this agenda, so the meeting will probably be long. I'm just going to take into account the important stuff that I think is important. That's just my opinion of what's important. I mean, you should go through it yourself. You're a tax-paying citizen. You should know what's going on. So, Bob Gale will be there too, by the way, to say hello as the new regional chair. Okay, so we start the agenda with item 8.1, and that's at the corner of Dorchester and Oldfield Road in the south end of the city. And they want to construct 2 new apartment buildings, 6 stories each, with 106 dwelling units. Now, this is a weird one because really, I'm not quite sure why this is even on the agenda. There's nothing for city council to decide on. Staff hasn't approved it, and they're looking for city council to approve it. It's kind of a for-your information, almost like a courtesy or something like that, where the developers are saying, well, here's what we want to do. We're going to show you what we want to do, and then we're coming back at a later date to get it ratified by you. So there's a few amendments to the official city plan to be able to build this. It looks like a nice build according to the drawings. I don't think there can be any decision made by council because staff hasn't made any recommendations as to whether it meets all the criteria that's needed. It does lie in a drainage area, one of the important drainage areas. And the rear portion of the build is an environmental protection area zone. So that's got to be dealt with. But it appears that the developers have gone through all the studies that they need to complete to approve the build. So I'm not totally sure why this hasn't seen a recommendation from staff to approve the build. And why it's before this council at this point, I think it's premature. But like I say, it could just be a courtesy. We'll see what that. I'm looking to see what that's all about. Why they brought it to council now. And there was no mention of attainable units in this build, but of course, if it comes back to council for approval at a later date, they will deal with that. They have dealt with parking and a lot of other studies that they need to be able to get it approved. So we'll see what happens with that. Keep your eyes open. I'd like to find out exactly why they brought it to council right now. Now, item 8.2, 7956 Spring Blossom Drive to permit a 7 townhouse development. And I looked at it on Google Maps, of course, right? The overhead and street view. And it seems like a pretty weird place, item 8.2, to build townhouses. You kind of got to go through what is now an open field, and then you go to the right, and behind all these houses and behind businesses on Lundy's Lane, because it runs between Lundy's Lane and Spring Blossom, is where the build's going to be. It looks like a pretty weird place to put townhouses in there. And to me, it doesn't look big enough for it. And parking could be a problem. I don't know how the existing homeowners are going to like this development right in their backyard, but and how they're going to fit all these in, and they're going to fit in the park. And there's concerns about the usual concerns: traffic coming onto Spring Blossom, snow removal, drainage, shadow. The regular stuff that everybody always complains about. But I mean, you can squeeze them in. It looks possible. I don't know if it would be the best for that area, but regardless, it meets all the requirements to be approved. So staff recommends approving the build, and of course, the homeowners can not like it, but at the end of the day, if it meets every requirement of a build, then of course it gets the okay. I don't see how council can say no. I think it's going to be approved. I'm going to break that down as approved by council, and we'll see if it gets built. Because a lot of things are approved, but whether they actually do get built is another thing. Moving on to item 8.3, 3665 Macklem Street. They're looking to build a 5-story, 34-unit apartment building. And there's a big, giant piece of property where they're going to build it, and it would definitely fit an apartment building of this stature. Staff recommends approval, although the developer tries to make a case for amenities. I mean, they're playing fast and loose with the truth on this one, because there's not a lot nearby on Macklem Street there. I mean, they say they mention Mary Ward School being 700 meters away, but if you look at the map, Mary Ward School is at the north end of the city, up towards Mountain Road. So 700 meters, maybe 7,700 meters, something like that. But it certainly isn't. It's like 5 miles away. So I don't know where they get 700 meters. Not a chance. The reduction in parking might be questioned by council. Because there is no amenities really there. You're built where you have to go out onto Portage Road, and you've got the Tim Hortons there, but there's not a lot right there, like grocery stores and that. And I don't believe it's on a major bus route. The major bus route is on Portage Road. So when they talk about amenities and making a case for amenities close by, they're really stretching it. Closest really a big amenities would be in Chippewa, and after that it would be in Niagara Falls on McLeod Road, the west side of McLeod Road. East side of McLeod Road. So really, this is a tough case to make for them. 18 units of the 45 will be affordable units, so that's a good thing. They're meeting with that's 40%, and I think they like to see 25% or something. So 40% are going to be like that, which is really good. So pretty good plan. Concerns by 5 people that attended the public meeting are standard: traffic, shadowing, fencing, snow storage, and rental or condo. What are they going to do? Are they going to rent these things out, or are they going to make them condos? And all these questions were addressed at the public meeting by the developers. So it looks like, I think it's going to be approved. There's no reason it shouldn't be approved. It fits where it is. The amenities are going to be kind of wonky. And most of the time, when you drop parking spaces for people, it's because there's amenities close by. When you don't have amenities close by, they get closer to the 1.4 parking spaces per unit. Um, we'll see if staff goes, or city council goes along with that and questions the parking. And man, oh man, I'm telling you, out here right now, it's a blizzard. Seriously. I'm looking out the window and I can barely see across the street. It's coming down fast. Oh boy, I'm going to have a lot of work to do later on. Item 8.4, 5523 to 5555 Fraser Street and 5778 George Street, a 4-story, 31 unit apartment building. And this has been before council. I think it was about a year ago, maybe longer. I'm not sure, but it has been before council. If you remember, they were looking to approve this property that they're looking to approve again for a residential building. It was in conjunction with the property on Hamilton Street, Hamilton and 4th, the old Milek building, the old Milek property. So all of a sudden, they turned it down on Fraser Street, residential, but they okayed the one on the Milek property. Now, here we are back at council with this, and the lands have been designated employment lands. The developer, of course, was looking again to have it changed to residential. So they were designated employment last year, a year ago, when they designated Hamilton Street residential, and they were left there. And of course, the business right behind them on the other side of the canal. Canal runs right behind there. Oleo Products are saying that they're in close proximity. They're going to be in close proximity to their business and that kind of thing, and could stifle future development by them because of concerns with residential apartment buildings being there. They sent a letter to city council. I read a lot of it, and to me, it seemed mostly like the letter they sent before, just readdressing their concerns. So they had an open house about it. 10 people showed up, and the same concerns as always: traffic out of Fraser Street onto a busy Stanley Avenue, the ability of aging infrastructure to handle the increased density of the build, and 15% of the build will be affordable housing. So here we are again at the same place we were a year ago when they didn't approve this. This is going to be very interesting to see if council this time gives the nod to residential builds. Now, we know that, make homes faster, whatever they call it, is in full play with these. They do meet the criteria to build these, recommended by staff, approve the build. So staff is recommending to approve it. Now, we'll see if council is willing to change their mind since last year when they said, no, we want these to remain as employment land. I don't see any businesses building down there at the dead end. Whatever's there is there, and that's it. I mean, there's a tire place, there's a electric place, and it's mostly residential. I think there was a mechanic down the end of Fraser Street. So we'll see what they say this time around. I think they should approve it. I mean, let's build something in there. Oleo, they're on the other side of the tracks. Who knows what's going on now with them? They get closed down tomorrow. We don't know what they're doing. We need housing in this city. 15% affordable housing. I wish it was more, but for attainable housing. So we'll see what these developers get with their second kick at the can in council. I don't know. I have a feeling they're going to approve it this time, even though last time they didn't. Item 8.6, 4902 Hunter Street. They want to permit a duplex to be used as a vacation rental unit. Now, they had a meeting about it, and nobody attended the meeting. Hunter Street is just a little street, I think, that runs by Epworth Circle in that area there. Holy man, it's bad out here. I'm serious. I can't see the driveway of the house next door or the other houses down just across the way. Okay, so it conforms to current parameters for VCUs. Looks like it'd be a nice place to stay. Has plenty of parking, even has a pool. So this is a perfect vacation rental unit, and it is in the tourist designated zone. So I can see that basically it's going to be approved. This should go through pretty quick, and there shouldn't be too much decisions to be made here. Okay, so that's the planning matters. Now, depending on how long everybody wants to talk and what crazy questions are asked and the time wasters get up there and blab on, they should get through this part of the meeting pretty quick. I mean, there's nothing here that is going to be crazy. But I would watch every one of these planning meetings because it's going to be interesting to see what council does, considering their former positions on, especially item 8.5. Okay, so away we go to item 9.1, interim tax levy. And I think I explained this to you before because it's crazy the way they have to do it. Because our city council decides to split the capital budget and the operations budget, they can't get their budget in time to put the mill rate, to put the increase onto the 2026 quarter one and quarter two tax bills. Now, council still needs money to operate, and we're not going to get this approved till February 5th, maybe, or, January 27th. And if everything gets approved then, okay, then they can go. But we're still a month into the first quarter of 2026. So what they do is they say, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to charge you the final rate for last year, right? And then what we're going to do is anything that is deficient, depending on what we decide is your tax raise this year, we'll just put it on quarter three and quarter four of your tax bill in this year. So all they're doing is approving that they can send out the tax bills, collect some money so that they can operate the business, which is the city of Niagara Falls. They have to pay their employees and everything else. And then they'll figure it all out after that. So you're going to get a tax bill. It's going to be what it was for quarter three and quarter four, less the increase, of course, because you were picking up payments that should have been made in quarter one and quarter two of 2025 on your quarter three and quarter four tax bill. I figure mine's going to be $860 or so. So pretty easy to figure out. It gives them operating capital, and I think in the interim, any department can't spend more than 50% of their budget in quarter one and quarter two or something like that, because they haven't collected all the money yet. There's something like that as well. So anyway, you're going to get your tax bill. It's going to be coming out. It's due by the end of February for the first quarter. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. I always am. So they're going to talk about that, the interim levy, and approve it. Got to approve that, city council. They'll do that, of course. Got to have money to operate. Now we move on to item 10.3, and I'm going to go through 10.3, and then we're going to take a break to mention my second sponsor, and then we'll go through the rest of the agenda. Housing and Growth Monitoring Report. Now, item 10.3 is an interesting read. It's the quarter three 2025 Housing and Growth Monitoring Report. It tells you what the city has approved, which is good. We are approving new housing builds, like 90 new residential building permits were approved, which means 43 single detached dwellings, 12 townhomes, a 15 unit apartment building. These are all approved, part of the 90, and 32 additional dwelling units. If you remember, now you can build an additional dwelling unit in your backyard, an in-law suite, if you want to call it that, a rental, whatever. But you could put an extra room out in your backyard or an extra room in your basement for that matter. Additional dwelling unit permits You have to get a permit for it. And you can do that. And 32 ADU permits were issued as well. But there is a problem. When are we going to start building them? We've approved a lot of stuff, but nothing seems to be getting built. And that's a huge problem right now. This report doesn't tell you that. It's a pretty thorough report on housing in Niagara Falls, 19 pages if you want to go through it all. It also talks about bylaw complaints. I noted 5 freedom of information requests. Interesting as we move into 2026. I wonder what people are looking for with the freedom of information requests. So we'll probably find that out at some point. People are looking for something. Somebody is looking for some information, and in that regard, there was 5 freedom of information requests put down. So that's interesting. But yeah, read through it, and hopefully some of these projects come to fruition because we haven't seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of these builds approved. Think about it. I mean, 77-story tower at Allendale and Robinson, 72 at that old place, Stanley and Dunn. We've got the big hole on Stanley Avenue that's supposed to be a big complex. We've had planning proposals and approvals for the corner of Walnut and Ellen Avenue and Victoria Avenue, that corner there. One on Bender Hill. We've had several on Ferry Street, where the old bowling alley was. We've got one coming up in the Meteor Crater. That's going to be coming to fruition. One on the King Eddie parking lot, not to mention all kinds of single-family homes that are going to be built around that hospital. So we've approved a heck of a lot of building, but we haven't seen a lot of it going out. And the one in Chippewa, too, the big hole in Chippewa at the old boathouse there, the restaurant and bar. We'll see what happens, but you can read through that. You'll see what they're doing with the housing in Niagara Falls. It looks great. Let's see something get built, though. I mean, we have a lot of homeless that need places to stay. Okay, I'm going to get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And you know, when you want a good pizza, the one thing you have to look for is consistency. I want a pizza that's good when I order it, good every time. And the problem with most pizzerias are they make it great one time and you say, well, I'm going back, and then you go back and you have a terrible experience. So how do you get rid of that? Well, you use recipes that have been tried and true, and you don't monkey around with them. Pete's Pizza uses the Mancini family recipes that have been around for 40 years. That's right. 40 years they've been around. And in that regard, the guys at Pete's Pizza know how to put the cheese on the sauce, on that homemade crust. They know how to do it perfectly. So you get the full flavor of the crust, the sauce, and the cheese. You add fresh toppings to that, and you got yourself a winner. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, that's where you want to go. Full menu, a fold-out. I showed you last week, a fold-out. They have hundreds of items on the menu. Steak and cheese poutine, regular poutine, steak subs, chicken parm sandwiches, wings, very, very good wings. If it wasn't snowing like this, I might even want some wings today. Anyway, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. How do you get this beautiful pizza and food that they make? 905-374-2222, or you can go to their website, petespizzavictoria.ca. And for all of you in the northwest part of the city, hey, you got a new store out there, Thurlson Road in Kaler, where the old pie guys used to be. They're cranking out the fantastic pizzas from there. Take it from my buddy Tony Nero, who says it's just as good from Kaler and Thurlson as it is from Victoria Avenue. Support our sponsors. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. They use Dine, they use Skip, all the services. You can't go wrong. Get yourself a fresh hot pizza today. You won't regret it. Okay, items 11.1 to 11.4 and 11.6. These are all flag raisings. And I don't have to tell you how I feel about flag raisings. No flag raisings. We don't need them. And anybody who watches this show on a regular basis knows that I do not like flag raisins for anything. Geopolitics, I hate in a municipal council We're not about partisan politics or geopolitics around the world, people fighting with each other. You start raising flags, and it causes hard feelings amongst other people who may not agree with everything that these countries believe in. They might even be at war. So that's a big no, good buddy. I don't want to see it, and I wish they would get rid of it. Okay, item 12.1, Niagara Region Waste Management Operating Budget. Now, this is an interesting 19 pages of information. And I found one discrepancy when talking about the reasons for the slight increase when I was going through it, why things have increased. And this is the Niagara Region Waste Management Operating Budget. They take care of the water and wastewater. Or sorry, this is the water and wastewater. This is waste management, trash. This is your trash. The other one is another one on top of this. So we see the operating budget. They mention fuel prices. Fuel prices as one of the things that have gone up, but I don't know where, because when I look at fuel prices, they're really cheap compared to a year ago. So I'm not sure what they are talking about, and it's not a great excuse to use. Whatever that number is, I'd like to see it recalculated, to be honest with you, in the budget. And also, we have to remember that the small increase, it's only 0.44%. And that small increase is because service to certain segments of the pickup, certain customers have been eliminated. They've been discontinued, meaning these trucks and that don't have to go out and pick up their garbage. They're saying any of that stuff that you have at a business, you have to take care of yourself. We're not picking it up anymore. So what this really means is more money for less services. I mean, this is a regional responsibility, and the report is only to keep council in the loop. They don't have a say on it because the city does not run waste management. There are revenue and expense ledgers to go along with the report if you're interested. Just looking at Niagara Falls, there appears to be very little change from the charges to the city per unit residence, per residence. In 2026, it's about the same as 2025. It's basically the very same charge, and it looks to me like $167.50 per year per resident. So you're paying $167.50 out of your taxes to pay for waste management. If I'm reading it right, I mean, I just see what I see. Whether I'm reading it right, that's another opinion. Niagara Falls net budget allocation is $9.1 million to operate the waste management system in the falls. That's our share. Now, moving on from the waste management in 12.1, there's another 50 pages that have to do with the water, wastewater operating budget for the region, which of course is over and above our property taxes. We pay that. We get a water bill, and the water bill includes charges for water and sewage. I mean, it looks like our rates for water and wastewater are going up, which is never a surprise, really, is it? I mean, really, every year it goes up. And it looks like the increase will be based on a $16.4 million increase to the cost of service over the 2025 budget. Now, before you have a stroke and go crazy, $16.4 million increase, you have to remember that increase is shared over 12 municipalities, with our water part of it increasing by $5 million, which represents an 8.78 increase. With the balance of the 11 million attributed, the 16 million attributed to wastewater, 9.74 increase. So we share in that, right? 8.7% increase to the water part of it, and a $11 million or a 9.74 increase to the wastewater. So I'm looking at it going, well, hold it now. Didn't they vote in a 3.5% cap on all departments to raise the rates? So yeah, we're getting a good raise in this wastewater. But what happened to the 3.5% that they said they were going to hold the line on? It was tabled by Bob Gale, approved by council, but it doesn't look like they're going to apply it to wastewater. And of course, the region's broke. There are $1.3 billion of projects and restoration that need to be completed in the wastewater system, including the Niagara South water treatment plant. No money for that bill or for the rehabs they're talking about. At this point, the region is just scooping enough money to maintain what we have. So you can read through the 50 pages of the report. It's informative. It's a good sleeping aid for those that have insomnia. There's also an update on the design contracts for the Niagara South plant, environmental assessment and enhanced conceptual design contracts were awarded to GM Blue Plan Engineering Limited through a process bid. Where they are with this, I don't know. The report is long and complicated, especially when there's no money available. Good luck going through it, but there you go. That's some updates on it, and we are going to get an increase. We'll have to wait and see exactly what's approved, but that's what it looks like in the operations budget. They haven't finished the operations budget yesterday. They were going to do it last week at the regional council meeting. It's been put off till February 5th. Bob Gale wants to have a look at it, and he's going to be looking at these numbers as well. He's the new chair, so he wanted to take a look at it before it was presented to council and finalized. They had a meeting for it. They voted to defer it, and they left 10 minutes. Bob wants more time, he said, but he's not going to get more time. That's it. So we'll find out February 5th exactly what we're going to get nailed with. And then we'll find out what our taxes are going up. So even though we're looking at the operations budget January 27th, the water and wastewater won't be decided until the region decides exactly what they're going to do. Item 12.3, a request from Thorold to impact the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation to update the assessment of properties to reflect current estimated market values. Now, if you're in the loop, this is a hammer that everybody is waiting to drop because our market value assessment hasn't been done on our properties since 2016. Now, this is supposed to be done every 4 years. So it was done in 2016, which are the values we're sitting on today. 2020 was supposed to be another review, but with COVID, they didn't do it. And now 2024 was supposed to be another review, and they never did it. So your property right here, my property is worth $280,000. But I mean, the selling price, if you sold it on the market, it would be $600,000. So those numbers don't reflect the true value. And eventually, the province is going to want to pick up these taxes. Now, Thorold wants to have it done right away. Thorold noted that the province benefited to the tune of $42.7 million in taxes due to reassessment of property, and that municipalities such as Thorold have no way to benefit as long as the province does not undertake an assessment to bring today's values into play. So they've assessed some of their properties, and they've benefited to the tune of $42.7 million in taxes due to reassessments, but they haven't sent it down as a mandate to municipalities. So all of a sudden they're short Thorold, and they're going, hey, there's a lot of money sitting on the table if we can just get a market value assessment done to all the properties. Now, I think at one point I was talking to Chris Regas about this, and he said there was a limit on how much they can raise it at any one time. So you're not going to see your property values go from 280,000 to 600,000 after they drop a mandate. I don't think. I think they'll have to do it in stages because they've been negligent not doing it for the last 8 years, actually 9 years, going on 10. So we'll see what happens. But Thorold's pushing for it. They'd like to see it. And what they say is true. At some time, it's going to hit us. And it could hurt the individual property owners that has to pay the increased assessment value because your taxes are based on assessment value. We'll see if our council has anything to say about Thorold's request, what plans they're making to soften the blow to property owners in Niagara Falls. Because if we get nailed with this, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Items 12.9 and 12.10, Integrity Commission reports. Now, I would suggest you read them. One of them is a little bit long, a whack of pages, 19 pages, 18 pages or something. The other one's not as long, but you may want to read them. Of course, they involve Jody Burdett's submission of Integrity Commission complaints against City Council and one against Mike Strange. But this time he was in this 12.9, he was looking to lodge a complaint against City Council on the whole for allowing certain things to happen without stopping them. And also in the report, he also said that the Integrity Commission should recuse himself from these complaints as he has already ruled against Mr. Burdett before with some malice towards him. I mean, I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow. I don't want to get into it now. This is about City Council agenda review. It's in the agenda. I could go on for 20 minutes about this, but I'm not going to today. I'll do it tomorrow's show. We'll talk more about it. And I'll give you my thoughts on exactly what's going on. But that's the gist of it. Read the complaint. You'll see exactly what they're talking about. And the other one is about case against Mike Strange, his actions at council, encouraging people from the Fallsview Hose Brigade to show up and block out the women from Ontario Say No, the group that was there to delegate and talk about anybody with criminal charges not being allowed to sit on city council, and anybody who has charges pending against them not being able to sit on city council. Now, there's a big brouhaha about it. Bill Mattson, the city clerk, wouldn't let them speak, calling it something against somebody who's got charges against them, which had nothing to do with what they're talking about. They weren't talking about that case, yet he allowed Mike Strange, Councillor Strange, to get up and talk about his case, which was cut off quickly by Councillor Lococo, saying, hey, listen, if you're not letting them get up and talk to it, Bill 9, because of that, there's no way he should be able to get up and talk to his case. He was admonished by the mayor to not talk about it and keep his comments to Bill 9. But he did. He just did what he wanted. And then the next meeting was when it was all packed. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll go through the whole thing. So we'll see what council has to say about that tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting conversation. It's right there. If anybody brings it up, last time they did. I didn't think they would. Last time it was brought up, and there was a big discussion about it. And, we'll talk about, there is a vendetta against Jody Burdett. It's obvious. There's something going on. So a lot of this has to do more with that. And if the Integrity Commission can't rule on a fair and unbiased, from a fair and unbiased position, then he should recuse himself and let somebody else take over who wasn't involved. More tomorrow. Item 14.1, looking for votes in all the wrong places. Motion by Councillor Van Nieuwesteeg to declare an official Filipino Day for the city. June 19th, official Filipino Day. I mean, really? Listen, I love Filipino people. They're the salt of the earth and a lot of fun. So I have no problem with them declaring this day, other than now we have to recognize every nationality and give them a day. Everybody who comes up now, no matter what nationality they are, they're going to have a day. Once you start this, it never ends. It's the same with flags. Once you raise one flag, you're going to have everybody wants a flag raised for everything. And now that they're going to declare a day for the Filipino people, now they're going to have to declare it for everybody: Italian, Polish, Yugoslavian, Azerbaijani, Iranian, Iraqi, Venezuelan, Colombian, Greenlandian, American, Hawaiian, Alaskan, everything. Everybody's going to want a day. And how can you say no when you've already okayed it for one group of people? You can't. So take it from there. This is a motion. Why? I don't know. Are they trying to get votes from the Filipino people? I mean, I can't see what's going to happen on Israeli Day. I mean, the Iranians won't be very happy. Syrians aren't going to be very happy. Palestinians are never happy about anything. Going to be interesting, but I think they should say no. I mean, come on, but they won't. We know our city council. Everybody will say yes because there's a lot of Filipino votes sitting there. Item 14.2, a motion by Councilor Lococo regarding support for the neighborhood watch programs. And I'm speaking from experience. This is a great idea. Back in the 80s, I believe, we had a neighborhood watch program in the city and in my neighborhood. And everybody who was part of it got a sticker to put on their front door, neighborhood watch. And basically, we had meetings once a month, got together and talked about things that are happening in the neighborhood and made sure everybody knew. Now, today with Facebook and everything else, you can have a group for your neighborhood and basically watch out for each other. That's basically what it is. You see anything weird going on, anything weird happening in the neighborhood, you pick up the phone and call somebody, or you post it on Facebook, like I do with people shaking the doors on my car at night, and let them know. And they keep an eye out, and you get all the neighbors involved. And most neighbors know who's in their neighborhood and who isn't. I know most of the cars of the people that live here, and I know most of the weird cars that we see driving through who have no business here. So neighborhood watch is good, and everybody spreads the word. They watch out for each other, and we had stickers for the house, meetings once a week for everybody if they wanted to attend them at somebody's house. They came over and sat around. And with cell phones, that kind of thing, I think it would even be more effective than it was back in the 80s. So yeah, I think this is a great idea, supporting neighborhood watch programs, and that somebody in your neighborhood, should start one and get everybody involved and encourage everyone on your list of your neighbors to watch out for each other. I mean, we really still do that in our neighborhood. Somebody goes away on vacation or somebody's not going to be home. Our neighbors watch out for us pretty good around here. So we have kind of a neighborhood watch already, but that's a great idea. And it worked great back then. And it'll probably work good now, even better, because we have technology to be able to deal with it. Now, that's about it for the agenda. There's a lot more to the agenda. A lot of it is just fluff. I mean, there's nothing major that you have to watch out for there. In my opinion, you look through it. You can go to niagarafalls.ca. You can see the agenda. Go through it yourself. See what's going on. My thing is to watch the planning matters, this integrity commission report, items 12.9 and 12.10. And of course, all the planning matters are always important. The water, wastewater, waste management operating budget is important. That has to do with your taxes. And I'll get into more of the agenda, some other parts of the agenda tomorrow. And that's about it for now. But the actual meeting is tomorrow between 4 and 5. They come on and you can watch it and see what they're doing, see what they're talking about. I gave you the highlights of it and what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to approve all the planning matters, no problem. It's going to be an interesting one with that item 8 point, I believe it was 8.5, second kick of the can for the property on Fraser Street and George Street. I think that's going to be an interesting talk because they already turned it down once. Now are they going to reverse their decision this time around? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see tomorrow. The rest should go through. They're going to explain the interim tax levy. I don't think they'll explain anything. They never explain that so people understand it. They just pass it. Okay, great. Yeah, go build the taxpayers. But people don't know why they're giving us a tax bill when they haven't even passed the budget. Well, I explained it to you how they do it. And that's about it. Other than that, I'll address more issues in tomorrow's show. And of course, they do change the agenda. There's some letters from residents and that kind of thing added in today. If I see any new stuff, I'll talk about it on my show tomorrow. And we'll go through all that before we get into anything else around the world. There's lots going on. And I want to talk about it, but we stuck to the budget today. I think that the meeting is going to be relatively long. There's 18 pages in the report, in the agenda. And as long as we don't get any grandstanding or motor mouthing or any of that, we should be okay. We should get through it maybe by 8 o'clock or something like that, 3 or 4 hours. But if people start going crazy, hey, who knows? Who knows how long it's going to last? Anyway, I'll talk more about it tomorrow. Whether I'm going to be in the studio tomorrow or not, I don't know. It looks like it's letting up a little bit out here now. At least I can see the hoses a couple doors down. Now I can see them. Before I couldn't, but there's a lot more to shovel. I'm going to go back out and do that. So we'll see at 12 noon somewhere, whether it's live in the studio, 4680Q on Chrysler Avenue across from the Meteor Crater, or whether it's in the offices of Video Sign Incorporated. Either way, there'll be a show tomorrow at noon. Promises made, promises kept. Support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. They're good corporate citizens. We want to support small business in the city, and they're a couple of great small businesses who give back all the time. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow at 12 noon sharp. God bless you all. Support our sponsors. I am out of here. Have a good day shoveling snow. And if you don't have to go out, don't. The emergency vehicles are on the roads trying to deal with this. They don't need you out there. And if you're parked on the road, get your car off the road so they can plow it. You always see that. Get your car off the road, get it in the driveway, put it somewhere so they can get down your street and plow it properly. Anyway, take care. We'll talk to you later.